We are going to go through some plays. So I'm sharing my screen. Got to make sure it stays sharing. PrizePicks got a promo. Taco Tuesday. I gave out, some plays on Twitter. Some good starts, some decent starts, some bad starts. But anyways, we'll see how this turns out, So anyways, we had a 2x here. Here we had on the Tyreek Hill promo, which we live streamed, we had a 10x, $5 to 50. PrizePicks gives me super bad limits for these promos. But anyways, without further ado, let's try to find some picks. So if we go to PrizePicks, you can see they're reducing CD Lamb's line from 84.5 to 59.5. So this is a no-brainer. If you look at all the other books in the market, everyone has him at like 84.5, 87.5, 90.5. So what you could do, if you use PointsBet or, if you want a low risk strategy, you could take the under on Fanatics, under 90.5, and then you could take the over 59.5 on PrizePicks. Wow, he didn't cash in either of the last two games, but obviously still a really good discount. So anyways, this play we obviously want to go with. And then let's find some value on PrizePicks. Like I say this all, and it doesn't look like there's much of anything right now, but I say this all the time, PrizePicks has thousands and thousands of lines up at any given time. Like we're trying to zone in on, okay, where are the spots where there's actually some value in the market? And we want to do, a lot of plays on Underdog too. So we'll kind of look at all these platforms. So PrizePicks is a little dry right now, honestly. So maybe we start out looking at some other books. So what about Fliff? So Fliff is a good book if you don't already use it. It's available in, basically every state, so that's a benefit of having Fliff. The reason I try to focus on these live streams on books that are legal in a lot of locations, Underdog, PrizePicks, Fliff, all these books are legal in a lot of different places. So you can see this Capella play I'm already on Capella over 9.5 rebounds at minus 105 odds. It still looks good. They bumped it up to minus 110, so some of the value went away. But anyways, let's make a slip. So let's go back here. Let's go to Underdog Fantasy and, let's try to create something real quickly. So they don't have any promos. The more books you have, the more promos you're going to have access to. Today, PrizePicks is the one with their promo, Taco Tuesday. And by the way, got some flack for saying you should always be taking these tacos. Tacos have hit. If you go through all the tacos this year, they have won 80% of the time, right? 80% of the PrizePicks discounted plays have won. So literally, if you just took every single taco and blindly selected an over or under, you would have made $725, right? Like if you would have randomly selected an over or under for your second pick, just played 2-pick entries, you would have made, with a $25 unit size, $725 playing the tacos this year. So let's go. Let's find a play. So the first play that OddsJam's recommending is Brook Lopez, under 19.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. I say this all the time, but we want to move ideally. Well, I actually have a play on Lopez. So I'm not going to be able to bet Lopez again. I have him over 6.5 rebounds plus assists. I gave this out yesterday. I gave out 2 plays on Underdog on Twitter last night at like 3 a.m. Couldn't sleep, but so I'm not going to be able to play this play on Brook Lopez, so I'm going to skip over that play. But the first play OddsJam's recommending is Kobe White under 21.5 PRAs. So let's take a look at this play. And ideally, let's, try to find some good plays to go with. So the second play OddsJam's recommending, is Siakam under 5.5 assists. So we'll kind of go through a little bit of the strategy, but again, these lines move quickly. So we have two plays for the, early games. And then what do we want to go to next? We got some esports plays. Again, I'm not going to be able to play this play on Brook Lopez, but the final play we have is esports. Quez under 25.5. A lot of people don't bet on esports. Maybe you don't watch it. But there's a lot of opportunity in esports because there's, dozens of games every single day. You think about the NFL, there's no games until, Thursday and there's only one game. Whereas esports, I mean, these guys go hard. There are dozens of games every single day. So there's a lot of opportunity. So let's kind of lock this in. And then let's go through each of these picks, right? So here is my 3-pick entry on Underdog Fantasy, number 1 of the day. And we'll try to fly through things here so we can reload this. And let's take a look, right? So here we go. We got 3 picks. And again, the way that Underdog works, similar to PrizePicks, is it's pretty interesting. So like on Underdog Fantasy, they have fixed payouts, right? There's no odds, there's no numbers, nothing like that. Like if you look at a sports book, there's a bunch of odds, there's a bunch of numbers, like Fliff, plus 270, minus 465. You don't see any of that on Underdog Fantasy. The way that Underdog works is they just have, fixed payouts. So if you take any 3-pick entry you create, you're going to get a 6x payout. And I'm limited to a max of $100. And, that's kind of what sucks about sports betting is you don't determine the max bet size. A lot of these plays I'd like to put more on, it's the books do. So anyone who is playing things on Underdog Fantasy for $2,000, they probably don't know what they're doing because Underdog is still letting them bet $2,000. And it's the same thing with PrizePicks. But anyways, so on Underdog, any 3 picks we select, we're getting a 6x payout. So why do we want to take Siakam's under? Well, again, Underdog Fantasy, they're going to give us the same damn payout if we take a player's over or under. You can see right here, like your payout doesn't change. So the reason we want to take Siakam's under is all of the sports books, Pinnacle, this book right here is known to be the sharpest, the smartest book with the most accurate odds. It's not available in the United States, but you still want to look at their odds because it's the sharpest book. You want to look at their odds as a source of information. And you're going to see like all these books have ripped Siakam to being a really big favorite to go under. Like Caesars, FanDuel, all these books have his under heavily favored. It's not just one book. All these books have his under heavily favored. So even if you don't use these sports books, they're data points telling you that Siakam's a lot more likely to go under as opposed to over. And that's exactly how you beat Underdog Fantasy. Underdog, they don't change your payout based on you selecting a player's over versus his under. So you want to look at his real-time market data, price data on sports books. Where do they have their odds set? Because a lot of people, they like to look at these last 5 grabs on PrizePicks, but like, you got to think like PrizePicks is a sports book. They make money if you lose money. The reason they show you these last 5 grabs is because it's useless. Every game is different and everything is baked into the market, right? The odds that books are putting out, injuries, lineup changes, that's all reflected in sportsbook odds, weather changes, stuff like that. So anyways, and again, you may use different sports books. There's hundreds of sports books, but all these books kind of sucks about the US. All these books are legal in kind of like different states. But anyways, so we got a 3-pick on Underdog. Let's head over to PrizePicks and let's see if we can find anything. And again, like literally just blindly selecting a second pair for the CD Lamb, like you will make money playing the tacos. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But anyways, the second play we can go with, you take a look right here, is Max Strus under 3.5 assists, right? So this looks like a good pair to go with. So you can see it's the same strategy, right? PrizePicks, they'll give us the same payout, 3x payout, if we take his over or his under. PrizePicks has fixed payouts. Any 2-pick entry is a 3x payout. So the reason we want to take his under is, look at all the sports books. They all have his under heavily favored. Everything is reflected in the market. FanDuel's a $10 billion company. They got a really sophisticated model. They're taking bets, moving around their odds based on where sharp action's coming in, lineup changes, all that stuff. And it's all reflected in the market. And it's not just FanDuel. Caesars has Strus heavily favored to go under. So it's like, okay, that seems like a good play to go with. Where did it go? And maybe it moved on us. So again, like sometimes these lines move pretty quickly. Did they bump it? Anyways, I'm sure we'll find a play on PrizePicks and we'll find some plays on Fliff as well. I never want to force anything. I mean, there's some halfway decent plays on PrizePicks right now, but we'll give it a sec. Another option, another play I thought was a little decent is Tony over to score a touchdown. So let's see if FanDuel already has odds up for Thursday Night Football. And I can kind of explain why, right? So if you take, Pollard to score a touchdown, so let's get rid of this. If you take him to score a touchdown, and then we go to receiving yards, right? If we take CD Lamb's over, right? You get basically the same odds. If you take Lamb's over or his under, you're getting basically the same odds. So it doesn't seem like there's much correlation. Again, PrizePicks has fixed payouts, so they don't account for correlation. And what do I mean by correlation? What I mean by that is if you take CD Lamb's over and Dak's over, they're only giving you plus 160 odds, a pretty low payout for a 2-pick parlay. The odds on the over and the under are the same, but obviously if you switch to Dak's under, this goes up to plus 335 on FanDuel, right? So the reason you get a lot lower of a payout is if you take both players to go over, these outcomes are correlated. If Dak has a great game and, balls out, throws for 400 yards, CD Lamb, his main target, is a lot more likely to go over. So sports books like FanDuel account for correlation, but PrizePicks doesn't. So anyways, what's not a horrible pair is like Dak over and passing yards, but you can see, again, you don't want to get ripped off. You want to find value in the market. PrizePicks has Dak's line at 281.5. If you look at PrizePicks, they have his line at 281.5. FanDuel's at 276.5. So you're getting kind of ripped off on PrizePicks if you take Dak's over. And obviously, if you want to make money sports betting, you don't want to be getting ripped off. Unfortunately, you don't want to be getting ripped off. But anyways, let's lock in some plays on Fliff while we wait for, hopefully, some PrizePicks plays. Okay. Here we go. Fade the stars. Shy Gilgeous-Alexander. So let's take a look at this play. Let's pull up the data. So the first play we want to be on is Gilgeous-Alexander. So I don't want to take this play on Dak. And again, PrizePicks, they're going to remove the good lines quickly. So try to keep up if you want to tail. If you don't want to tail, do whatever you want. But anyways, if we go here to Jason Tatum, let's just kind of take a look real quickly at the data, right? I obviously follow a very data-driven approach. My gosh. Obviously he's probably not going to be playing much of the fourth quarter, assuming it's actually a blowout. And that's reflected in the market. That's reflected in the odds. The Celtics are huge favorites tonight. But you can see here, Underdog Fantasy, a competitor to PrizePicks. They work in basically the same way. ParlayPlay, another site just like PrizePicks. All these fucking platforms do the same thing. They take bets. All these other books are data points. They're books with sophisticated models. They all have Jason Tatum lower at 13.5, right? You can see FanDuel actually has his line at 13.5 with the under favored. So it's okay, these two plays seem really good to go with. And then let's just kind of reload here. And is there anything else, that we want to go with? What we can also do is try to make a little correlated, sometimes even if, again, correlation is an added benefit, So you can see PrizePicks has relative to the other markets, it looks like Gino's line is a little bit higher. For Will Levi, Colts, his line's 5 yards lower than Underdog. So you got a few data points, but, bet openly, they're in check with PrizePicks. They both have the line at 196.5. So it's okay, maybe not crazy, but anyways, please don't bump this on me. So let's go here. And maybe we just pair two esports plays, right? So we can take Freeze over and Plussin under. So let's go here to CS2. And again, I don't care what I'm betting on. There can be value in esports. There can be value in, really anything. So let's take a look here. And then we want Plussin under, is this correct? Under 19.5 headshots, over 13, right? And then you'll see, if I try to bet this for 20 on PrizePicks, unfortunately, they say, oh, the max for your taco is $5. Again, I've made money on PrizePicks, so that's just kind of how it is. So we got the really good promo. Tacos have hit at 80% this year. This play on Jason Tatum, clear as day, right? That his line's too high relative to the rest of the market. And again, unless you think, You have like so many people are like, oh, I want to create my own model to outsmart the sports books. It's like, how are you going to outmodel FanDuel, DraftKings, $10 billion companies with way more money, engineers, data feeds? Like, it's not going to happen. They also have access to betting volume. FanDuel's not stupid. They see where their profitable customers are betting and they can adjust odds accordingly, you know? So you literally have dozens, hundreds of books setting player prop lines on the NBA. They all have Tatum at 13.5. Right? Slight differences from book to book, slightly different models. They're taking slightly different action, but it becomes pretty clear that the line on PrizePicks is too high at 14. The value's on the under. So that's a great play to go with. So, okay, we got, 5 really good picks on PrizePicks. So then we can bounce back. I mean, maybe there's some plays on Fliff. So we got this play on Brook Lopez, but again, I unfortunately am not going to be able to bet it. So let's take a look at Sarek. Under 18.5 PRAs. Again, like, I say it all the time, probably gets old, but for anyone new, it's just like the more books you have, it's really important. The more profitable bets they're going to be. There's some really good value on Fliff right now. They have his under at minus 135. Caesars, Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker, minus 162, minus 169. So let's just lock this in real quickly. I try to move quick just because, again, the lines can move on us. So this is what we want to go with. And you can include it in a parlay. I've gone through the math behind parlays on Twitter, and, we have some videos on the OddsJam YouTube about it. But if a play is profitable, it's going to be profitable in a round robin, as a straight, in a parlay. It doesn't matter, right? And the way that books make money is by charging a spread, right? So you can see here, Caesars has a 46-cent spread. It's just like a broker. I'll buy this stock for $123. I'll sell it for $169. They charge a spread around fair value. So the way that every book works is, they essentially have models that spit out, hey, here's what we think the odds should be. And then they add in their spread. So Caesars has a, 46-cent spread. Plus 123, minus 169. So essentially the way that Caesars works is they have a model that says, hey, we think he is, 58.35% to go under. So the fair odds with no vig, with no spread, the true odds would be minus 140 on the under. But obviously the sportsbook wants to make money. They don't charge you a fee for placing a bet. They make money by adding the juice, by vigging their market, by adding a spread. So instead of giving you minus 140, Caesars, adds the spread into their market and gives you minus 169. But we're going in reverse. We're taking Caesars market and saying, okay, if we remove the spread, right, what is the true odds with the vig removed, the spread removed? So this is called a no vig odds calculator, true odds calculator, fair odds calculator. Whatever you want to call it. I mean, a lot of different names for it. So, okay, we got some good plays on PrizePicks. And again, like, there's a lot of injury news oftentimes, especially as you get close to game time. There's a lot of NBA today, so there's going to be a lot of opportunity. But like all these lineup changes, injuries, who's playing, who's not playing, right? All this stuff affects lines. That's why the market's always moving around. It's not always clear to people, like, why are the odds moving? Sometimes it's as simple as like, Giannis, Jokic, they're not playing. If Giannis isn't playing, Dame's line, for points will probably move higher. Dame's going to be taking more of the scoring load with Giannis out. So you'll see his points line move up. Maybe his assist line goes down, stuff like that. Like, it's all reflected in the market, the odds that sportsbooks are putting out. Oh, man, we got a lot of bets. So you can see there's a lot of plays on Fliff right now. So we can reload PrizePicks. Is there anything new, we're passionate about hopping in on PrizePicks? I mean, we still got this play on Tatum and Gilgeous-Alexander. Those look good. But what we can do is we can go back to Underdog. And anything on Underdog, and there is. I mean, yeah. There's a couple. But again, I already played Brook Lopez. So I'm not going to be able to bet him again. I would love to play Brook Lopez again, but again, I already bet him. And Underdog Fantasy, they limit me to $100 per player per day. It sucks. I'm not happy about it, but that's just kind of the way it is. So not really enough value to make a new underdog slip, because on PrizePicks, the optimal slip type are 5-pick flex plays. On Underdog, they have different payouts. Underdog is a 6x payout, 100 to win 600 for 3-pick entries. If you look at PrizePicks, you put together any little 3-pick parlay you want to make, you're going to see you're only getting a 5x payout. So it does really matter, like PrizePicks versus Underdog. How many picks are you including in your slip? Whoa. But you can see there's a ton of opportunity on ParlayPlay. So it's not the most popular book in the world. I'm aware of that. ParlayPlay, this book right here. But again, it's another book that's going to give you an $100 deposit match when you sign up, free money. And there's a lot of opportunity. So we can go through a very simple example. We have Luka. Let's just look at the data real quick. So this is the OddsJam, sportsbook screen, kind of shows you where all books have their line set. And it's like, okay, ParlayPlay has the line at 16. Literally every other book has the line at 16.5 with the over favored. So not only is the line higher, but they have the over favored as well. So it's like, okay, seems pretty good to be on Luka's over. Right? Again, on this platform, they'll give us the same payout if we take his over, right? 3x payout. You take his over, you take his under, you get a 3x payout. So not only do sportsbooks market data points, ESPN, a new sports book, pretty good. All these books have his line not only higher at 16.5, but they have the over favored. The over's juiced. So it's like, okay, that seems like a great play to go with. And obviously a lot of these games are, starting quickly. We have Drew under 11.5, Sabonis under 33.5. So really the hard part is just getting down the volume. It's really just I try to move quickly. I place a bunch of bets with an edge on a daily basis. Let the math work itself out. I know I'm not going to win every bet. But I know when you have the edge, when you're finding plays with data, you're using market data. So I already have Drew under, so I'm not going to take Horford under. It also doesn't really make sense to pair DeRozan. You want to be a little careful playing picks in the same game. So what we can do is, where am I trying to go? So we already have Drew, and we have Rozier under 20.5 points. So do we already have a play in this game? Yeah, nope, nothing. So if you go here, right, and we look at player points, it's just let's check it out real quick. Why not? All the other books have his line at 19.5, ParlayPlay sitting at 20.5. It's like selling a stock at 20.5 when it's trading in the stock market, which is the equilibrium price of all investors' beliefs, when they all have the line at 19.5, pretty clear that the value's on the under. So it's like, okay, we got Clayton Keller and Jalen Williams under 22.5. So we want Clayton Keller under, and then we want Jalen Williams under. And again, I encourage you to track your bets and just look at things, ideally over the course of a month. Not every bet's going to win. It's unfortunate. So on ParlayPlay, the optimal slip type is 7-pick entries. So 7-pick parlays. Again, it sounds crazy, but that's the optimal slip type. But 6-pick entries are roughly similar, so whatever. We can lock in a 6-pick entry because there's no 7th pick. And it's like, okay, we cleared out the value on ParlayPlay. Let's head back to Underdog. Maybe there's some new picks. Obviously, a lot of these games are about to start. We already have this play. These are pretty low profit margin. I'm sure if you use FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesar, some of the other main books, they're not available everywhere, but sometimes the opportunities in soccer, whatever, really depends on the given day. All these other plays, there's some value. again, OddsJam is just scanning. There's thousands of lines on all these sports books, tens of thousands, right? Like all this different crap you can bet on Fliff. Like every single game has tons of different markets, player prop lines, all this stuff. OddsJam just scanning, pointing out value. It's very simple. It's all data, right? This is a good bet because the data is backing it. And, that's obviously how I bet, how I like to think about my bets. But anyways, okay, we got this play on ParlayPlay. Let's go back to Underdog quickly. Anything new for me? Honestly, this seems decent, right? So you look at Sengun, all the books have his over pretty heavily favored. So let's refresh this. And, you can see here, it's like, okay, all the books have him heavily favored. So if we just go to NBA odds, let's try to lock it in quickly. And again, it's a volume game. I can only bet $100 on Underdog. So if I have a 20% ROI, but I'm only placing one bet a day for $10, you make $2 per day. You really need to be getting down the volume, right? So we want to look at the Rockets game real quick. And you can see they already bumped him up to 21.5 points. So I was trying to bet over 20.5, and it may not seem like a big difference, but 20.5 versus 21.5, it does really matter and add up long term. PrizePicks, nothing new. There is a new play on Zach LaVine, but again, like I never am going to force a bet. Sometimes there's more opportunity on particular sports books. It looks like, we cleared out a lot of the value. Obviously, some of the first games are starting right now. And then, if you go to DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, a lot of value in soccer. Soccer's actually been my most profitable sport on FanDuel. Josh Giddey, over 4.5 assists. So there's some plays. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. We're able to tail some of these plays, Taco Tuesday, everything like that. And have a great rest of your day.